The intention is to set up in, you could call it a 3-4-3, if you like. But football has evolved rapidly defensively over the last 5 years, and you can no longer defend purely zonally. You can't just put a formation out there. That doesn't work. So you have to have man orientations. And Frank has spoken about this recently. He talked about how, in the medium block, it's kind of zonal, but you have to have man-to-man elements in it. When you press high, you go man-to-man, and when you block, you have to have man-to-man elements. So the man-to-man element that is especially relevant here is that Odebear had to remain somewhat close to Yuri and Timber. Arsenal quickly realised that they can manipulate that to their advantage. So this here, I believe, is Odebear. Yuri and Timber is just off screen because he's on the very right touchline. Essentially, what Arsenal are doing there is they're putting us, you can say Spence isn't in the back line, but he will be in a moment. So they're forcing us into a back six. So we're playing a 6-2-2 formation, right?
Formation has never been in vogue either. That's like, they didn't even play that when they had pig's bladders.
Jonathan Wilson doesn't even mention 6-2-2.
No, it doesn't exist.
So we want to be aggressive. We want to press when the moment is right. We want to chase back passes. We want to force the opposition back, in the ball high. We're playing a 6-2-2, right? So we'll play on a little bit here. You can see that a midfielder drops in for Arsenal, a centre-back moves wide, and they can progress the ball up a bit. So with Odebear, and you can see now properly the back six, right? A flat back six. 3 Arsenal players in their front line, 6 Tottenham players in our back line. What does that mean? It means that we've got a 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
Bear in mind that the intention here is to have some aggression. Bentancur sees that Odebear's in the back line, so now it's his job to come out and be aggressive to the carrying centre-back. But he's a bit nervous doing that, that's not really his job. He's got to worry about the centre. If he abandons the centre, what might happen there? So he's a bit off the rhythm. Okay, but he forces the back pass. So that's a successfully defended situation. But what's happened meanwhile is that they forced us back another 10 yards, another 15 yards, another 20 yards. And now it is a flat back six for us.
No centre-back has come out to replace Bentancur in that moment. There's no synchronicity.
Yeah.
Despite there being like a whole mother's meeting of them in the middle. There's no Gyökeres, there's no Havertz, there's no number 9 for them to worry about, but all of them are still there, kind of just occupying nothing.
So again, they come back into this very open right space. Bentancur comes back out again and again, forces them backwards. Great work. Richarlison goes, okay, Thomas Frank says we need to be aggressive. Thomas Frank says we need to press back passes. We need to jump into a man-to-man. So here he comes. Let's go. I want to press. I love pressing. And you can see, you can't quite see from this angle. But trust me, Richarlison is pointing with his left hand. He's saying, support my press. Come press the other centre-back here. Come with me. And Bentancur's like, oh, but I don't really want to abandon Rice in the centre. That's not my job. But okay, fine. Let's do it. Let's be aggressive. So he comes out, but it's a bit hesitated. It's a bit delayed. The right centre-back is going to get the better of Bentancur. Saliba's going to get the better of Bentancur here. It's going to happen sometimes. Whatever. Meanwhile, Timber and Saka are going to swap. What we could have done there is Odebear could have stayed with the wider player and Udogie could have stayed with the narrower player, but they stay with their men. They stay with the men a beat or two off the ball, right? There's a delay. There's a lack of aggression. There's a lack of intensity. What's happened in the meantime? Van de Ven has said, I need to support the press. I need to chase Rice because Bentancur's pushing up. Oh, wait, no, now the ball's behind me. So now Van de Ven is just in midfield. Palhinha's gone, there's no one in midfield. I need to come across. Timber receives the ball in this pocket of space here, and he's 1v3. Now, Odebear, that's his man. He's not sufficiently intense. He's not close to him. He's allowing the first touch. And then Palhinha's like, should I dive in? It's not really my man. Van de Ven's like, should I dive in? I kind of need to get back. So Timber comes out of a 1v3, right? So you can definitely blame individuals there. But look what's happened structurally in the meantime. Go on, Bob.
Yeah, like the intent, the lack of going and getting that ball. It's 1 versus 3. There's 3-on-1, man. Get that ball. You've got to get that ball. You can't allow him. It's not Messi. It's not Maradona.
It's a centre-back.
It's a centre-back.
Again, you can say individual issues. in the application of the ideas. But look what's happened structurally here. In this wide area, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players drawn wide. And then you've also got Richarlison and Kudus who are ahead of the ball, and that's fine. You don't want them just collapsing into midfield all the time. You want to have some vertical depth and the ability to send the ball up to them, right? But they've dragged us wide, and now there's this huge pocket of space in the middle that they can access. Arsenal can access. So the ball goes into that area. Palhinha is recovering across, but then backs off. Then says, wait, no, I need to prioritize what's behind me. Kudus races back and then goes, oh, no, I don't want to be drawn too deep here. I should let Palhinha deal with it. Backs off. Richarlison goes, well, if neither of you can... Again, Palhinha's backing away. He says, oh, there's only 6 players in the back line. I better run away and make it 7. Richarlison says, okay, fine, I'll do it, but he's too late. So now we've allowed an unpressured pass from the most dangerous area of the pitch that isn't the box to allow unpressured passes from. And it doesn't matter that we're outnumbering them in the back line, because you're essentially allowing a set piece from open play.
But you've also had the whole thing falls apart because Destiny has followed Saka's run. Saka's gone, okay, I'm going to be number 9. So Saka's gone wide, and then he's just naturally followed his run in. Destiny's followed it behind the entire back 20 and played everybody online as well. So it was almost like, had Destiny just let him go, not continue to kind of clump up the middle, then Trossard's offside as well.
I would also add, know your players. Marino's dangerous on his left foot, really dangerous on his left foot. So why are we letting him do what he wants to do on his left foot?
So let's get back to the point that you were making, Windiala. Where is the lack of intensity coming from?
Yeah, what I was going to say was I simply don't believe that this is about individuals lacking intensity in arguably the biggest game of the season. Because if we think of the initial situation there with the ball being played into when Saka and Timber have rotated position and the ball's being played in, you've got probably arguably one of our most aggressive defenders, Udogie, late to the ball. That's really unusual for him. He's normally he's nipping in ahead of the receiving player. Then you've got Palhinha not putting a challenge in. Like, this man loves tackles more than Bardi loves running, you know? All he wants to do is tackle all day, and he's not tackling in that moment.
Yeah.
So I just don't believe that this is down to individuals failing to be aggressive enough in the.
But maybe like 10 or 15 minutes before that, Van der Ven's gone flying through somebody, not been booked amazingly, which was great. But so they are doing it, but they're not doing it all the time.
I think it's a very interesting question. Where does the lack of intensity, or let's talk about like closeness. Like, if you're going to be man to man, if you're going to use man to man ideas, like, get in their face, get a hand on them. Yeah. So you can feel what their movements, so you can go with them and you can chase and you can be aggressive. Surely that's the intention. And surely that's what we saw a fair bit more of against PSG, against City, right? And so where does the lack of that come from? Is that a sort of a detail technical failure in training that he's not hammering that point? Is it a tactical decision? Okay, give them a bit of room because we don't want to be too easy to manipulate. Well, that failed because we were too easy to manipulate. Or is it that Frank's overall style of coaching is defense first? Frank's overall style of tactical approach is opposition focused. Frank's overall messaging is a conservative, ear orientated one. And that mentality gets into the players to really respect your opposition. And that causes that hesitation, that causes that nervousness. I don't know if it's one or the other or a combination of the both or whatever. Is it that they go, hang on, we're Tottenham Hotspur and we should have a plan for what to do with the ball? To me, I think it's an interesting discussion point. It's an interesting thing to think about, and it's something that Frank should be thinking about. But from an outside fan perspective, it doesn't matter, because either he's failing on a technical coaching issue or he's failing on a player management coaching issue. Either way, he's deriving the same result of a lack of intensity in the game.